Golf is expensive, so I'm doing something a bit mad this year. I'm limiting my entire golf life to £250 per month. That's £3,000 for the whole year. And I'm tracking every single pound to prove you can still play, improve, and enjoy golf without getting rinsed by the industry. I'm not a pro. I'm just a normal golfer with a normal life, a job, and I've worked in finance for years. So I'm treating this like a proper budget. If I blow the budget, I have to cut something, period. If I save or earn money, I can reinvest it into what actually lowers scores, hopefully. Welcome to the first episode. This series isn't just about saving money. It's about outcomes and getting better. Before we go into the numbers, here's a quick recap of the rules I've set myself. First, £250 per month. That's it. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't happen. Second, golf cash flow only. And yes, that does include income, if any. Third, performance matters. The goal is not just to save money. The goal is to actually get better and reach a 3 handicap. And fourth, finally, failure stays in. Whether it's bad rounds, bad decisions, or budget mistakes, you'll see it all. All right, now let's dive in. This is my Excel spreadsheet. I wouldn't be a finance person without it. So this is what I'll use on a monthly basis to keep myself accountable and to document it with you. So if I start with my golf objective for this year, so the first one is pretty obvious. I've mentioned it already, is to get to a handicap of 3 or lower. I'm starting at 8.7, so I've got more than 5 strokes to gain. So it might be a challenge, but hopefully I can get there. Second, I actually want to shoot par or below once this year, at least. So I think this is part of my improvement plan, and breaking par would be a huge accomplishment for me. Third one, I would love to be in the top 3 or win one of the club competition. So we have those every 2 weeks at my club, and I've been in the top 3 last year, so I would like to do that again. Fourth is another personal one. I would like to play a Pro-Am event this year, just for my development and see how the game works at a professional level. Luckily, there is a pro event happening at my club later this year, so I may have an opportunity to do that here, but if I can't do it there, maybe I can do it somewhere else across the UK. And last but not least, because I'm a finance person, I'm setting myself an extra little challenge that might encourage me to play better golf, because I love investing. So for every birdie that I make, I want to invest £25, and for every eagle, I want to invest £50. So what I will do is I will keep track with a birdie counter and an eagle counter of how much I'm actually investing every month from my golf game. Now let's jump into the budget itself. So as a typical budget, obviously you have expenses and income. So for a total of £3,000 this year. So that comes down to £250 a month. So if I do break down the categories of expenses, the first one is the annual membership and the range access. So the membership, I don't have the final numbers, but I've estimated it will come to £2,400 this year, following a slight increase from last year. That comes down to £200 per month, which is obviously a big chunk of my £250 budget. On top of it, I have to pay a range access fee of £175. That gives me access on a daily basis to the range with 2 buckets of balls. Golf clubs, luckily I've kept this one at 0. I went through a very pricey 2025 where I upgraded all the clubs in my bag, and this is where I realized I spent way too much. So hopefully this year I will not need to buy any further clubs, and I've got everything needed in my bag. Now, golf balls, I've budgeted about £80. I am not a big fan of the Pro V1 or the £50 golf ball, so I've kept myself to one box at £20 per quarter, and I will have to be careful because I do have a tendency to lose some balls. But if that budget gets broken down, I will have to be creative and start fishing for balls in the pond or go look for them in the woods. Lessons is going to be a big one, so I've allocated £300 for this one, just because I do want to get better. It's not only about playing and having fun. I want to improve. So I've budgeted lessons, and in the next episode, I'll go through what I'm planning this year and what I want to improve. Closes should be a relatively small area. I'm only planning £100, and that might be for a new pair of shoes for the summer. So we'll see how that goes. Equipment, that's the small items. I've only budgeted about £30, which is mainly for a few gloves for the year. Hopefully I have all the tees in the world, and so I don't need to spend anything else. I did allocate £100 for the odd green fee here and there. So that'll be an interesting one. Hopefully I won't have too much external green fees to pay for. Now, golf trip, given that budget, unfortunately I had to put that at zero. So I'm not going to be doing any golf trip this year unless there's a magic opportunity or I can suddenly generate some income that might help to pay for it. The next one is the tournament fees. So I mentioned I want to enter some club competition and maybe other events. So I've budgeted about £70. Club fees are about £3 to £5 at my club. So I'm planning to do probably 2 comps per month. So that comes down to about £70. It's going to be an interesting one because I also want to play in club matches, and those fees are more around £15, including the brunch. And finally, food and beverage. So I have included a social budget in terms of how much I'm going to be spending after the round. So I've kept it down to £225 to force me to not get stuck in the clubhouse after a round. And finally, just £20 for the various miscellaneous items. So that comes to a total of 3,500. So I've already set up myself for a challenge here because that budget looks like I'm going to be spending more than my £250 per month. So how do I balance that? I'm actually planning on having some income from golf. So the first one is ideally tournament gains. So I mentioned my objective being in the top 3 at least once this year. So based on that, I should be able to get at least £20. So this is my objective. And then hopefully from social media and mainly on YouTube, maybe I can generate a bit of income, and I'm hoping to get £480 for the year. This is a big unknown, so this category might very well be zero, or it might be more. I might be funding a golf trip. We'll see. But if it is zero, I will need to adjust my budget accordingly, and you will see all of it. Hopefully, I'm not planning on selling any old clubs or anything else. So that's about it for the income. I'm only hoping to get £500 of income for a total of £3,000 for the entire 2026 year. And that will be £250 per month. This is the part I'll update every month. So you can see whether the plan is working for me or whether I'm fooling myself. If you want to see whether I can actually stick to my £250 a month budget without my golf addiction winning, subscribe. Because if I fail, you will see that too.